Animal Crossing New Leaf is without a doubt one of my favorite games of all time. In fact, it holds the record for being my most played video game ever. I mean, this shouldn't be a shock to any of you since you know I'm a huge fan of the series. So, before we head off to New Horizons in a week, I think it's important that we take a moment to remember what came before, and I'd specifically like to talk about my history with the game and what it meant to me. New Leaf was the first Animal Crossing game that I really got into. I had Wild World when I was a kid, but I was way too young to actually appreciate or understand what it was. In fact, I didn't even remember playing it until I found it in my house while cleaning a few years ago. I was the only person in existence not to own a Wii, so naturally, New Leaf would be the next time I was exposed to the series. I remember not being too sure about the game. I wasn't an Animal Crossing fan at the time, so I had no nostalgic connection to the series. After hearing about the mayor mechanic, my interest was piqued. I still wasn't 100% for it, but I decided to pick up the game in June to see if I would enjoy it. And I did just that. I named both my character and my town Mayor because I thought it was clever, and stepped off the train for the very first time. And I kid you guys not, the hours that followed are some of my most vivid memories. I still remember my first 5 animals: Alice, Mael, Clay, Ken, and Rocco. From the moment I set foot in Mayor, I was immediately entranced by the atmosphere the little town contained. After getting my tent set up by the nicest Tanuki to ever live, I remember just wandering the town in awe. The 3DS obviously couldn't produce beautiful graphics or anything, but to me, the game was gorgeous. I'd never played anything like it before. Well, to my knowledge at the time, since we've established that I played Wild World in my early years. Unbeknownst to me, this would be the start of a 5-year-long obsession that I would happily let take up hours and hours of my life. I couldn't let go of it. I heard all of the hourly tunes in-game before I heard them online. When I was about to go to sleep, I would put my villager in pajamas, tuck him into bed, then put my 3DS in sleep mode so I could continue playing the moment I awoke. It never got to the point where I'd say that what I was doing was unhealthy or anything, but man, was I bound to this game. It was really one of the first times I felt a personal attachment to a video game, even though I couldn't connect with my character, but that's a topic for another video this week. In just a few years, New Leaf had taken up hundreds of hours of my life and was still being played daily. Life was becoming more stressful and New Leaf became a form of escape, just like all Animal Crossing games are. You can immerse yourself in another world, where your only worries are paying back a Tanuki for your house, and you make your cash by catching bugs and fish. Where the only things you have to remember to do are attending birthday parties and paying off public works projects. It was really like a second life, and I've yet to play a game that has captured me like New Leaf has. Even after revisiting games like Wild World and City Folk, they never reached the level of immersion that New Leaf did for me. And even though I'm incredibly excited for New Horizons, part of me thinks that form of world-breaking, life-merging captivation might be something exclusive to New Leaf with me. Exclusive to my first true Animal Crossing experience. Of course, like what happens with most games, my bond with Animal Crossing New Leaf wouldn't last forever. In late 2017, after completing the museum, getting all the fish and bugs, collecting the picture frames of all my favorite animals, and upgrading Main Street to completion, I started to feel a little bored with the game. Like I had already done everything there was to do, and there wasn't anything to strive for anymore. I didn't play the game much in 2018, besides checking in for holidays, making sure my favorites didn't leave, going to the island to get some expensive beetles, you get it, the basic stuff. It wasn't until later that year that I would pick up New Leaf all over again. After seeing the announcement for what was only known as Animal Crossing Switch at the time, I had flashes to the times I spent with New Leaf. Memories I thought were long forgotten were rushing back to me again, and all of a sudden, I knew that I had to get back into it. So, I did what most would consider absolutely forbidden, and restarted my town. All of that work across the years was deleted. But I didn't care. I never looked back. My previous town had started to become stale to me. It was less of a second life and more of a daily chore, something that felt mandatory but didn't bring me as much enjoyment as it used to. Starting fresh was the only way to recapture the glory of my early days with the game, and it worked like a charm. Mayor 2 didn't quite bring me as much enjoyment as my original town, but it has been the main thing keeping me sane while waiting for New Horizons. And now that the time to move on is almost here, I've found myself sentimental while playing. Animal Crossing New Leaf was the first video game to truly connect with me. Before it, all I really knew about games was that the goal was to win, to complete whatever challenges are set in your way. But New Leaf isn't like that. No Animal Crossing games are. It's about relaxation, about creating your own path and living a second life. And even if it might not have the same effect, I can't wait to do it all over again in New Horizons.